So my name is Mike Martino. I'm an enterprise architect at Zerto now. We're part of HPE. That happened recently this year. Yeah, so I just want to, my goal here is to be short, sweet, complete, to give you an idea of what Zerto is, what problems do we solve, how can we help. I want to be, respectful of everyone's time here, and it turns out I'm actually double booked myself, so I want to kind of give you a presentation. I know normally if this was like an actual in-person event, I'd be between everyone and happy hour. So I definitely keep that in mind. We'll pretend it's a virtual happy hour. So types of challenges we see out there. We're talking about data sprawl, data growth, acceleration of cloud, ransomware. These are all things that are top of mind that people are worried about. How do you protect your critical workloads? And that's something that Zerto wants to solve for, especially when it comes to it's an always-on world. You don't want to be down for too long because downtime means money. So we want to be able to help protect. So what we are is we are replication, we are automation and orchestration. We excel at certain types of not just data protection but recovery. So this slide just essentially says, what do we do? And I'm going to answer it really simple for you. We protect VMs, we protect containers, we protect your critical workloads, and we do it in a way that's simple, scalable, easy for multiple people to use. I've heard a customer call us the easy button for DR, and there's a lot of truth to that. And then, thinking about AWS, one of the things that Zerto does really well is that no matter what your VM you're running today is, it could be a VMware VM, you want to go to another platform, especially AWS, you want to start testing out the cloud, maybe replace a data center for instead of having your own data center you're paying for, you want to use AWS capability to provide compute. Zerto can actually replicate into AWS. It can recover natively in AWS without the pain of conversion. I mean, there's a process that goes into Zerto recoveries, but one of the things that Zerto won't do is it's not going to stick things up into the cloud. It's going to make it so when it lands in the cloud, it's already the format it needs to be recovered in the cloud. So that could be very valuable to you if you want to start thinking about your traditional virtual machine workloads. You want to bring those into AWS. Maybe you want to take advantage of some other things you could do in AWS as far as a lot of the great services you've heard about today probably, and you want to get your VMs closer to that, or you want to have some economies where you can use AWS as your DR site. That's what Zerto wants to do, is just make it simple to go from any to any. And we do have an announcement coming up at AWS reInvent in a few weeks where we're going to extend this to being able to protect also in AWS clouds. So let's say you've already gotten into AWS and you want to protect your workloads in AWS that are running in EC2 to another availability zone or into another region. Zerto will be able to provide DR protection in a very specific way that we're going to announce. So stay tuned for reInvent. I don't want to spoil that, but I just want you to know that's what's coming. But going back to what this slide says, we protect VMs. We do it in a way that's simple for you to understand and do, and then ultimately be able to recover, protect, recover, and prove out that you're to others that you're able to recover. So the same Zerto architecture can solve for many use cases. Usually people, when they hear about Zerto, they understand Zerto excels at DR, and that's something that we do very, very well. Maybe very, very well that nobody knows that we could do all these other use cases. The only other use case that's helpful is mobility, meaning we can do migrations just as well as we can do DR. We can also get you in the cloud if you want to run there forever. Or let's say you don't like what you put something into the cloud, you want to get it back. Zerto can get it out of the cloud, bring it back to on-prem, help you re-platform. So mobility is also a strong use case. There's other things we could do that you see on this slide. I'm not going to go into everything. It's really impossible. But just know it is possible with Zerto. The same architecture, same simple architecture that fits into your source VMware environment can do all these things, give you a lot of value. But if you're going to go to AWS, a lot of these things will still apply. Now, another thing that's kind of new this year with Zerto is that we've extended our ability to protect containers. So that's why you see on the bottom of the screen, there's a lot of platforms here besides the native clouds that we support for VMs and the native VMware and Hyper-V platforms for running and protecting VMs. We also can work with containers, and that can be part of your strategy if you're thinking containers and you want to protect or migrate. Something that Zerto has, Zerto for Kubernetes, is a product that was released this year. We actually just announced our second version at KubeCon a few weeks ago. But Zerto for Kubernetes, we can address container workloads. Containers, you think, oh, it's just, those are simple to, those are a different model compared to VMs. You could spin up thousands of them if you want. It helps you kind of get towards the microservices vision that everyone has for their software. But you still need protection. You still need a way to be able to do recoveries. And one of the things Zerto does is the same way you use Zerto on-prem will apply to containers, just being able to protect, recover, automate, orchestrate your testing and your recoveries. And there's one other value add that I want to get into that I can't remember if it's on the slide deck, I apologize, but the one thing I want to mention is that Zerto has a journaling capability. So it's not just replication from just point A to point B, but it's also a trailing history. So we can keep a history anywhere from 1 hour up to 30 days of granular history that in case something happens, something bad happens, something bad like your site goes down or something gets corrupted or you save the wrong version of something and it overwrites and you can't get it back because it just got replicated. Well, the difference with Zerto is we have this journal capability, which is very powerful for almost rewinding a VM like a DVR back to a particular point in time that Zerto's kept in its history, and you can rebuild that VM at that point in time. And it's much more granular than a backup. It's something where you can take something that's been replicating with Zerto, rebuild to a point in time from the journal, and then resume from that point in time like nothing bad happened to it. That's something that applies to both containers and VMs that we can do. So just high-level key benefits is that it's flexible, it's agnostic, it's 100% software. So we're just going to add this to your environment. There's no physical appliances that you need to put in, especially with cloud in mind. There's no way you can get physical appliances into a cloud, but what you can do is provision resources in a cloud, install Zerto on them, and now tap that as a resource that you can use to replicate VMs into or from the cloud. So it's really flexible to set up. It's agnostic. However, the interface and the workflows are all simple. So a lot of the things you can do with Zerto relate to DR recoveries, DR testing, migrations, operational type recoveries where you rewind to a point in time and get a VM or a file from a VM. So these are all things Zerto wants to be able to do. And what we do is we take stuff that you've already done in your environment. You've already built your VMware environment. You're about to build your environment in AWS. All you need to do is provision the VM, install Zerto on it, give it access to your account, give it access to your VMware environment, and then Zerto, you can get up and running in under an hour. So pretty much you could see the value of Zerto the same day you buy it and get the license key. So that's really a goal for Zerto, is to get you up and running. And really you're going to be thinking more about how you want to protect your VMs and your containers and your other applications with Zerto and how you want them tested and recovered. So the high-level architecture is that it's built on the foundation of continuous data protection, always on replication, RPOs in seconds. So as fast as we see the data change, we're talking about the ones and zeros of the disk of the VM as they're changing. Zerto can replicate and protect and get it to the destination, whether it's another VMware site or say AWS native cloud. We'll replicate it and build a journal. There's consistency across VMs, so as you're replicating, Zerto is timestamping everything together so you can recover everything together, resume it from the same point in time, all the related VMs that make up an application. So that makes it easy for you to recover everything with minimal troubleshooting needing to be done. And then orchestration automation is just more of the Zerto taking care of a lot of the details for you. It's just going to ask a few questions about what you want to protect, how to recover it. And then no matter what the details are, it could be VMware, it could be a cloud. You could pretty much, they'll just ask you what's needed. Okay, if you're going to recover to the cloud, what VPC, what subnet, what security groups do you want to use? So we'll just ask the relevant details. It's a very simple wizard to set up protection, and then 3 clicks for any kind of recovery you want to do. And I have a couple architecture diagrams to just show you real quick. Traditional VMware environments on-prem, Zerto requires a manager that works with your vCenter or your system center if it's Hyper-V. And that's where you put the Zerto interface. That's how, this is the only VM that you need to provide in each site is a Windows Server VM. You download and install the Zerto software, connect it to your vCenter. Zerto can see everything in that environment. The only other details are replication appliance that Zerto provides. You just tell Zerto where to put it. And then Zerto will be able to see the changes, build a replica and journal at the target site. We could even take what we've replicated and turn it into a backup. So it's another different way to do a backup that could have some value. If you have struggles with traditional backups, if we could replicate it, you can also back it up with Zerto because we already have a copy, so we just make another one. So that's going from VMware to another VMware site. If we change that to AWS as the target, very similar. Architecture is slightly different where this VRA, actually it says VRA, but it really should be a Zerto cloud appliance. This is a another VM that you stand up in AWS, give it access to your account, and pretty much Zerto will use S3 to store the replicated data. And then when the time comes you want to spin up anything, it takes it out of S3 and using a process to build the running VM to a point in time you specify, Zerto can create the EC2 instances for recovery. So consistency across VMs. So when you replicate with Zerto, you group your related, all the VMs that make up an application together. You see there's different timestamps that could be seconds apart. So you could recover this whole stack of VMs as one application all to the same point in time with the way Zerto replicates. So that's very valuable for any kind of DR or event where you want everything to come up together. And it doesn't matter if the target is AWS or another VMware site, it will work the same way. And then this journal just gives you the ability to have these seconds apart timestamps to recover everything to. And then when you use Zerto's backup functionality, you can then potentially extend the short-term journal to years potentially and have a little bit of overlap. So you have two different places to put your data. And when you have a backup copy using Zerto's backup method, you can lock it down in AWS using immutability. You could do tiering. So this journal history gives you a way to rewind your VM. So it's not just going to last night's backup or going to a snapshot. It's using Zerto's way to build a journal history and recover your VMs for DR. Then hybrid cloud, I mean, we support other clouds, native clouds, VMware clouds, or just on-prem environments. We do it all. So it's pretty much, we'll do the translation for you. It's just a matter of you tell us where to go from and to. We'll do it equally well in either direction. The workflows are all going to be the same, so it's easy to learn and train people on it. And it's just simple at scale. So one interface, one experience. You can enable other users to learn Zerto, come in and do their testing, send their report, and you're done. That's really what Zerto aspires to be simple at scale, easy button for DR, as one of our customers calls it. And then lastly, I want to just wrap up here. It's continuous availability. It's operational efficiency, where it's just the same interface lets you do everything. The same architecture lets you do everything, and then being able to enable you to, maybe today you're going between two sites you own, but then in the future you're going to be able to go to the cloud, and then when you're in the cloud, protecting in the cloud, that's what you'll hear at AWS reInvent in a matter of weeks. So I know I sped through that, and I appreciate everyone bearing with me. I do have to run to another meeting. This went a little bit later than I expected. Hopefully you understand what Zerto is now, what it can do, and I'll pause on this slide so people can take screenshots, maybe an old-fashioned camera photo. Maybe we can share this later. But there's different ways to find out more. We have hands-on labs, so you can actually go up and spin up a working Zerto lab and actually try out Zerto in a different different number of use cases, going between VMware sites, going between VMware and the cloud. So you can try out Zerto without doing it in your own environment. So of course, we support giving you a trial license and doing it in your own environment, but why not try it in our lab first? And then if you want more information, you see this email address. Sherry McKenna was the one who brought me into do this, so she's agreed to get all your emails and help you find the next step of contacting your account team, or if you have any questions, she can pass them on to me and I can get back to you. But I encourage you, if you see any interest here, any value of Zerto, give it a try at one of our labs. Check out online. We have some tools to help you understand the value of Zerto and how we save you money with one platform that does a lot of different things. And then also getting you to and from the cloud, something of value. So if you like what you see here, please give it a try, and please let us know how else we can help. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time.